where they are now, things start to move. Steve Gruber, good to see you, brother. I'll see you from West Palm Beach tomorrow. All right, folks. 4 p.m. Markets closed. Steve just mentioned some really good numbers on Wall Street. Yesterday was up 500. Today, Dow up 640. S&P up again 15. NASDAQ backed off a little bit, but doesn't matter. It's a very, very strong market going across the board. Oil, really good news. 57.75. 57. And as I pointed out in the press briefing room today, that 3 years ago, under Joe Biden, oil was $112 a barrel. Double. Like literally just a touch under a half price of what Joe Biden had it. Across the board, natural gas down again, gold up again, and crypto down a little bit, almost just under 92,000 to the Bitcoin. Some of the other cryptocurrencies easing off a little bit, but still holding again. Bitcoin at 90,000 is a very, very important level. All my friends are like, oh, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm not doing anything until I'm sure 90,000 holds, because if it holds, it should be a good run upwards. We'll see that though. All right, folks. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging, it's here, it's arrived, and this latest move cements that reality in a big way. Trump Media just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Yorkville Acquisition Corp and Crypto.com, the crypto platform trusted by millions of users worldwide. They're teaming up to acquire up to $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like this new company will be the biggest publicly traded CRO holder out there. Want in on that action? Head to Crypto.com today and let's make crypto great again. For more information on the proposed business combination, check out Yorkville Acquisition Corp's public filings. Alrighty, folks. Samurai Wallet was a Bitcoin privacy wallet, which included specialized privacy tools that mixed coins of wallet users that required no third-party custody. But the U.S. Justice Department, under who? That lunatic Joe Biden charged the CEO and co-developer on 2 charges: conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Joining us now to discuss is that man, Keoni Rodriguez. Keoni, really good to have you. Another example, Keoni, when government gets too big, when the government overreach gets too big, especially in things that they don't understand, things like this happen. I'll let you tell your story. Give us a couple of seconds. Give us a couple of bullet points on where you are, what happened, and where things stand right now, please.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I operated Samurai Wallet openly and notoriously in this country for 10 years. And for 10 years, there was no problem. And then suddenly, under a weaponized Biden Department of Justice, on April 24th, 2024, 50 armed FBI agents raided my home with guns, drones, armored vehicles like you'd find in Afghanistan, and arrested me under these 2 charges. I found out I was charged out of the Southern District of New York, the SDNY, somewhere I hadn't been to, had never operated a business out of, didn't have employees from, didn't have any infrastructure. And that's when I understood and learned that the Southern District of New York, especially under Joe Biden's administration, was a den of vipers. And these are the same people who went after President Trump himself. So I was caught up in that same group of, well, I'm not going to say what I think, but same group of people.
Yeah, well, you can say, I'll say what I think you think. I will tell you that Southern District in New York is almost the thuggish enforcement arm of the Democrat DOJ departments, the national DOJ departments, whether it was Biden or Obama prior to Biden. So yeah, Southern District of New York is a tough cookie to crack. Here's a question, Keoni. Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road, also got convicted in jail, but Trump pardoned him. So where does your case stand? Because Trump understands crypto. Biden, Democrats, liberals, most of them don't really understand that we want smaller government. We don't want government interfering in our financial matters. DeFi, decentralized finance, keep government out of us. Where do you stand? Is there a chance Trump could pardon you the way he pardoned Ross Ulbricht?
I think there's an absolute chance. Not only does Trump understand crypto, which is a major benefit to America, but Trump understands injustice And Trump understands fairness. And Trump understands a weaponized DOJ coming after him personally and his family. So I think there's a very good chance. President Trump is all about deals. You know, he makes great deals. And he not only makes great deals, he sees when a deal is bad. And if he looked at our case, saw what happened to us in this case, he would see a bad deal, and I think he would make it right.
Let's take a listen to President Trump in the big crypto conference in Nashville late last year. Watch.
CBDC. There will never be a CBDC while I'm president of the United States. And I will always defend the right to self-custody.
So what's the message, you know, not only to Donald Trump, the person, but to, you know, the American people right now? Why should he consider pardoning Keoni Rodriguez?
Because we built tools for Americans to protect themselves and their financial privacy. We never took custody of their funds. No one ever got scammed. No one ever lost their money. There are no victims in our case. This is purely a weaponized Department of Justice under Biden, who hates the idea of Americans having self-custody of their crypto assets. Trump said it right there. Self-custody is key. CBDC equals surveillance. Trump is anti-digital asset surveillance. These are all the things that Samurai Wallet stood for, and stood for 10 years without any legal issue. So Mr. President has an opportunity to make this right, to show software developers in America that it is safe to build software here, that the government will not come after you for the actions of bad people who might use your software. But software developers are protected.
You know, Keoni, the Libertarian Party and Angela McArdle, a friend of mine, was very instrumental in securing the pardon of Ross Ulbricht. And it strikes me that it would be a great group for you to be talking to if you're not already talking to them. I hope you are. What a wonderful group that is really understanding the meaning behind smaller government. Republicans, let's call them rhinos, Republicans tend to like to talk about it, but when push comes to shove, they may not be actually pushing that narrative forward. The Libertarian Party is. Are you talking to them?
Yes, I've been talking with Angela. I've been talking with Libertarian Party. Various Libertarian Party chapters across the country have passed resolutions supporting me and Bill, my partner who created Samurai with me. And not just us. We weren't the only victims in Biden's war on crypto. There's Ian Freeman. There's Roman Storm. There's Roman Sterlingoff. There's many people who are victims of a overzealous and weaponized Department of Justice.
Good for you. Good for you. Now you did plead guilty. So, Keoni, you want to tell us why? I'm sure it was a reason, probably a threat, but you tell us.
Yes. I mean, the amount of arithmetic that goes through your head when you're trying to determine whether to take a deal when you don't really think you broke the law. And not only do you think you didn't break the law, but the regulator in charge of the particular law in question, unlicensed money transmission, also doesn't think you broke the law. It's a very difficult choice. But as you stated at the top, the Southern District of New York is a tough district to deal with. You have judges who are essentially acting as prosecutors. You have a jury who's not going to hear all the facts in the case. They're going to only hear the facts that the government wants them to hear. And all of this led us to a plea because the downside was a 25-year prison sentence and a judge who was appointed by Clinton, a 79-year-old judge who doesn't understand Bitcoin, doesn't understand crypto, doesn't understand custody and how important that plays into things, would sentence us to the maximum 25 years. That was a certainty. So we think we made the right choice.
That's very important, folks. That's very important because when they threaten you with the possibility of 25 years behind bars, and they say, well, listen, maybe we'd be willing to cut a deal, and especially when it's Southern District of New York who's doing this, then you say, well, the law of odds right here, especially with an activist judge on the bench, someone who doesn't understand crypto, you're going to tend to take that deal. You got you agreed to a 5-year plea deal. Final thought on how you, by the way, folks, Keoni's is supposed to report to prison in 4 days, on Monday. What's your final plea here, Keoni? The stage is yours for your final call.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me tell my story. I hope, like I said earlier, that the president learns about this story, because I truly believe he is a man of justice. He is a man of the people, and he is a man of innovation. And learning about the facts in this case, learning about the dirty tricks the government played during this case, he is uniquely qualified to understand those things. Many Americans don't understand the dirty tricks a weaponized Department of Justice pull, but President Trump does. So I'm confident that if he saw this case, he would do the right thing. He would pardon us, and he would pardon the other crypto prisoners who were impacted by President Biden's war on crypto.
Well, I'll tell you what, I support you. You know, I think less government, smaller government is absolutely mandatory to ensuring this republic stays a constitutional republic that it is. We wish you luck, Keoni Rodriguez. And by the way, stay close to Angela and stay close to those libertarians. They know what they got it going on, so to speak. Thank you, Keoni.
Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, there's a moment in every man's life. Every man hits this point when comfort stops working, when the old playbook doesn't apply anymore. That's where the edge lives. It's in politics. It's performance under pressure, risk, reinvention. I've lived it on the baseball field, on Wall Street, and in the media spotlight. The edge is for men who don't quit when the heat turns up. We sharpen ourselves. We sharpen ourselves from the fire. We're forged. If you've been through the fire, or you're about to be going through the fire, you're already one of us. Now take your phone out, hit that little QR code with your camera. A yellow line comes across, you press it, you've subscribed to The Edge. We are blowing the doors off 150 times faster than all other new YouTube shows. Why? Because it's not about politics. It's not about life. It's about making sure men are forged in the heat, in the power that comes from being tested and getting back up. At Eric Bolling on YouTube, at Eric Bolling The Edge on YouTube, at Eric Bolling The Edge on YouTube. Go there, subscribe. I appreciate your subscription and your support. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.